The film opens with snapshots of the 9 hikers that were all found dead in the northern Ural Mountains of Russia, 2 weeks after their expedition in 1959. This incident marked history with the name Dyatlov Passing Incident, named after the leader of the expedition, Igor Dyatlov. Now, 50 years later, a psychology student named Holly from the USA is assigned a research project on the Dyatlov Passing Incident, which she has always been drawn to. She introduces herself in front of the camera and reveals that she spoke with her friend Jensen about the research project, and he suggested they make a documentary film on it. Since she's officially gotten the grant, Holly first interviews the teacher that gave her the assignment. Ms. Kittles explains that this incident was once discussed by a Russian novelist in his novel. Despite him fictionalizing the entire incident, he was killed in a suspicious car accident, which Jensen thinks was an attempt by the government, which doesn't want anybody talking about this incident. Back to Kittles' tape, she believes that the 9 hikers died of either hypothermia or an avalanche, but Jensen thinks otherwise. Up next, Holly and Jensen gather their crew.
We found ourselves an audio engineer.
Denise.
And then we found 2 capable guides.
Andy and JP Hauser, who are professional hikers. The 5 students start hiking the nearby snowy regions for practice, in which Jensen keeps falling because of his snowshoes. Holly finally announces their official departure to Russia in the documentary. The scenes cut to a few weeks later, when all the Russian news channels are covering the report of Holly and her group going missing in the same mountain region as the Dyatlov group. The search teams have recovered the students' equipment, such as their backpacks, but their search for the bodies remains. Many experts weave their own conspiracies and also interview a tribe near that area, according to which the Ural Mountains hold a spot that is a portal that connects this world to the world of spirits. A news reporter delivers the news that the search team found the student's camera, which promises solid leads in the case, but the footage remained limited to the authorities, up until a hacker hacked the footage and uploaded it on a website for the public to see. In the footage, we see Holly crying and explaining that she opened a door where darkness engulfed her. The clip rolls back to a month before, where we see the students recording on another and joking around inside a train in Russia, which is taking them to a small village near those Ural Mountains, also called the Mountain of the Dead. When they arrive at the village, they find out that a 10th member of the Dyatlov group felt dizzy and ditched the expedition. After the incident, he started having meltdowns, so he was admitted to a mental hospital. When they go to visit him, the staff comes out, threatening to leave while claiming that the member they're looking for is dead.
He's dead.
Before leaving, Holly spots an old man flashing them a signboard from the hospital's windows before he gets taken away by the staff. Since it's in Russian, they have trouble translating it. While Holly keeps thinking that the man who flashed them the board is the 10th member of the Dyatlov group, Jensen takes everyone to a bar nearby to drink and hitch a ride to the main village from where the trail starts. At the bar, they are offered the same shots that the Dyatlov group had the night before their hike. While some assume it's a bad omen,
Stop it, it's not funny.
the other group members believe it's only a coincidence. There, a man named Sergei approaches them and generously offers them a ride to the trails. At first, he takes them to visit his aunt, who was a member of the first search team for the Dyatlov group. Before visiting her, Holly draws the sign on the snow that the old man flashed them. Sergei improvises it and translates it, revealing that it says to stay away.
Stay away.
In the documentary, the aunt reveals that she and Sergei's father found 11 bodies instead of 9, and that the last 2 bodies they found were much scarier than the others.
And 4 more in the revoir.
And they had some kind of machine near them. This doesn't sit right with the group because the aunt has told them something that was never mentioned in the reports before. Sergei offers them a ride to the trails, but they decide to go on their own. On their way, Jensen's fully convinced that the group was exposed to extraterrestrial beings, while Holly contradicts and reminds him that he was the one telling her about the secret and unannounced experiments that the military was conducting on those mountains back in 1959. However, the group spends its first day with a positive vibe. They set up tents and warm up some dehydrated food. At night, Jensen keeps a lookout, claiming he's watching out for the orange lights that 5 different people reported seeing on the night the Dyatlov group went missing. The next morning, the group wakes up to a shocking discovery: giant footsteps all around their tents. Jensen is convinced it's the Yeti, But Holly thinks otherwise,
Bear? A snow tiger?
which has Denise worried. They become worried when they figure out that the footsteps are of a barefoot person because they don't show any kind of groove or spikes that the snow boots usually have to help walk on the snow. The footsteps are only found near tents, as if the entities only walked barefoot near the tents and hovered their way back. On their way ahead, Andy thinks it was a sick prank pulled by Holly and Jensen, which makes Holly upset. It gets weird when they come across a weather tower, and Holly finds a human tongue inside it.
What the?
Holly sits down with Hauser, who thinks the air is making weird noises because he's heard them before on a hike in China. Here, Holly reveals her childhood recurring nightmare in which she always saw a door in the middle of a snowy region. And when she opened that door,
There's just this darkness. Swallows me up.
hence, they must leave their past ghosts behind and move forward to crack the Dyatlov mystery. Soon, Holly realizes that they've already reached the place where the group was found dead. She uses red spray paint to identify where they were found lying dead. She unleashes a shocking revelation.
She was just a year older than I am now. She was missing her tongue, but Rustem and Nicholas had a number of broken ribs. But none of the bodies had any defensive injuries.
One guy was checked for a high amount of radiation consumption. Andy and Hauser show up, claiming all their compasses, watches, and GPSs have been scrambled. Andy thinks there's a magnetic force field around them causing all this, and besides that, he believes that the GPS before getting scrambled showed a location that would have taken them till midnight to reach, yet they have reached it in broad daylight. The following night, Holly and Jensen go for a radiation search using a Geiger counter. It leads them to a place where they dig up ice and discover a heavy-duty door, which is jammed due to the ice stuck in the seams. Holly looks at it as their answer to the mystery and decides to deal with the door issue tomorrow morning. At 6 a.m. sharp, they hear loud thudding sounds, so they make a run out of their camps. Outside, they see a mountain worth of piled snow coming down towards them. They make a run for their lives, but Denise gets buried deep under the snow and dies. Luckily, the group saves Andy, who is badly injured. While Andy and Hauser think it was an avalanche, Holly and Jensen are convinced that the military tried to ambush them. This turns into a heated argument.
Crazy bastard! Shit like that doesn't happen in the real world,
Are
okay?
you telling me you didn't see those charges?
As it settles, they fix Andy's broken leg and tend to his wounds. Jensen and Holly finally reveal to Hauser the door they discovered.
What'd you find?
A door.
Out of options, Jensen uses a flare gun, hoping to find help before the military gets to them. In no time, two men approach them, but Andy thinks they are set-up puppets sent by the military since they have no bag packs and have gotten here in such a short time. Since he can't move, he decides to stay back and tells everyone else to run. The guys shoot Andy and come after the other three. But they run to the door, open its jammed seams using boiling water, and hide inside it. The men shoot at Hauser, and he gets injured. Stuck inside, Jensen finds a fuse box, and when he flips the switch, the lights turn on and reveal a tunnel, which leads them to an abandoned lab. There, they find a logbook with the records of dead soldiers up until 1959, the year the hikers died. They also find top-secret pictures of an experiment that was secretly conducted by the American government on a ship. They experimented with teleportation but ended up getting fused to the ship. When they move on, Hauser stays behind, asking to get help since he's been shot in the arm. Left alone, Jensen and Holly move forward and come across a dead soldier, whom they think has just been killed. They realize they're inside an execution chamber when they come across a pile of burned skeletons. Things become trippy when they find a duplicate of their camera with the recording of their entire journey up until now. They fast forward to see the next part, but the battery dies. They also come across a chamber with metal hooks clinging to the roof. Simultaneously, they hear Hauser scream at the top of his lungs, so when they return, they find two ghost-like entities feasting on him. The entities attack Jensen and Holly, but strangely, they don't harm them. They keep disappearing like ghosts every time they are attacked. At last, they herd Jensen and Holly into a chamber, where they find a wormhole. They realize they are pushed here purposefully, so they take the risk and go through the portal, hoping to get back home if they think of a home in their head. Sadly, the plot takes a shocking turn when their bodies are discovered by Sergei's aunt and father back in 1959. The military shows up and scares them away while they are in a state of shock to see 2 extra bodies besides the Dyatlov group. The aunt, Alia, spots their camera, which she referred to as a machine to Holly and her group. The militants take them back inside the tunnels, where they place their camera on the table, take off their clothes, and hang their lifeless bodies to the same hooks Jensen and Holly had spotted earlier. The film ends as Holly's tattoo at the back of her ear is spotted on one of those lifeless creatures, confirming that Holly and Jensen are the ghosts stuck in a loop that herd their human versions into the wormhole chamber. Here, the film ends. Thank you for being a part of our video. If these tales of mystery and intrigue sent shivers down your spine, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more bone-chilling narratives. Stay tuned. And until next time, stay captivated.